Hello, and thank you for tuning into this NGRT studio interview at Asian Utility Week 2016. I'm Denise, and joining me is Abhishek Kumar, and he's a principal consultant, energy and environment at Frost & Sullivan, specifically for Asia Pacific. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks for having me here.
So in this particular session, I think we'll be covering a few items of discussion, but mostly probably about advanced metering infrastructure developments in Asia. Let's perhaps kick off with that question. What is driving the need for it, in your opinion?
There are three different types of AMI developments which are happening specific to countries. So I would say first one, China, Japan, and South Korea. These three countries are mostly around grid modernization. China is very high on renewable integration. Korea is about rolling out since the last 6-7 years and next 4 years more. So that's about these three countries. They will add up to about 80% or so of the global smart meters for the next 5 years. After that, China will be around replacing the old ones, a decade-old ones. That's the first category. Second category is the ASEAN main countries: Malaysia, Philippines, Thailand. So Malaysia, these three countries are scaling up their pilots or doing big pilots, around 150,000 to 300,000 smart meters.
Right.
Rest, nothing much.
Okay, all right, fair enough.
So,
okay.
three categories.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Right.
So first one was on grid modernization, first category. Second is on grid modernization driven by government.
Right.
Till today, I did not know about the business case for Philippines, but I heard a fantastic presentation from Meralco. They have a business case, but it is predominantly driven about reducing theft and focusing on certain low to middle income families, which will not, in my opinion, not replicable in Malaysia because of various reasons. So these are the drivers.
Right.
Next, obviously, nothing we don't know of.
Okay, yeah, all right. What challenges do utilities in Asia face when it comes to actual AMI development?
Right, yeah. So the first
I know it's a
one,
huge region, but what are the general challenges that you see currently?
So I'll exclude the first one because they obviously face challenges in rollouts. The first category which I mentioned, China, Japan, South Korea, but they are managing it based on strong program management, execution, planning. So they have a business case on renewable integration, etc.
Right.
But when we focus on the second one, which is the Malaysia, Thailand, and Philippines, wide-scale deployment, still the business case is not clear. What are they going to use it for? A really interesting example from Malaysia is this, because of prevailing subsidies, the retail prices are quite low. So even if in like 2 a.m. you give very good price, the consumer is not going to switch on. They're not going to change their sleeping pattern.
No.
They will sleep early. They will switch on the air conditioner around 9 p.m. That's it. They're not going to move it till 2 a.m. So that is pretty much the business case. That's the first one. Second one is obviously how do you integrate it with transmission and grid infrastructure which is already there, which you have put in the last 15 years or so. How do you integrate it back? So all the protocols, etc., the technical stuff. And then you may do it. You will get minute by minute information, but are the operations team ready to handle so much?
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. Today they act on a 4 hours lead time. How do you change the behavior, change the company? Are you prepared for it? So all these things are really big problems, and we can spend actually hours talking about it. So it's not just technology, it's the whole change.
Yeah.
And last one is consumers. What do consumers know about it? If if there is a rumor going on that this the utility is able to log in and do something remotely, and this was a fair enough reason which literally derailed the AMI installation in Australia. It has derailed in Netherlands. So Yeah,
All right.
there are. These are the three top issues I think,
Right.
which may restrict and which will be a challenge for these utilities.
All right. Okay. So maybe based on that, where do you see AMI development in Asia, say within the next decade or so? Where do you think it will be?
Malaysia has made a very strong, coming from the CEO of TNB, that they will put 8 million, and the way it has been branded, it has been branded very well, marketed very well in Malaysia. I believe they are doing customer enhancement exercise, and TNB is a strong company, very good practices. So they should be able to roll out it. Obviously, you will have challenges, business challenges.
Yeah.
Thailand, we don't know yet. There's still pilot exercise will start properly, and maybe 1,000 something.
Yeah.
Philippines, we'll see how it is. They are going to expand. We just got the update that by 2024 they're looking at about 3.5 million. So there is something that will happen in the next 10 years. China obviously will have a replacement exercise that will go on. Japan will be going ahead about 20 million or so. South Korea is already has plans around 20 million by 2020. So this is the different. Singapore is still trying to figure out how to actually roll it out to normal consumers.
Right.
So
Okay. So there's definitely some development
yes,
going on,
yeah.
without
lots
a doubt.
lots of exciting opportunities. I
Yeah.
would say that will come up.
So speaking about those opportunities, should private investors get in now?
Yes, one big news was a leading company called O Power, which is into analytics,
Yes.
using the data, being bought over by Oracle.
Right.
That is a good case or example. But there were other companies who are still trying to figure out. But if we relate it to something about a decade or so back, when first iPhone was released, nobody knew what to do. But there were so many innovations on apps and suddenly it changed the whole game. Suddenly, iPhone is the thing, and obviously you have Android phones, etc.
Right.
But that is what started it.
Fantastic.
It may happen the same thing. AMI will give a platform, but as other stakeholders, we as consultants and other parties, we should not think that utilities will do everything.
Yeah.
People, new investors have to come in with ideas, how it can be, that data can be used for more interesting things,
Right.
making the customer happy, not by giving them the regular feed of what is their bill, what is their usage, but something on top of it, like something which can help their daily life. And I think there would be
And perhaps something relative to a specific customer as well, customer segmentation.
yes, that is true.
Making it relevant to-
Lot of
to everyday
analysis
life.
exercise will
Yeah.
obviously come in data part in the next 5 years, when there
Right.
will be enough consumers who will be connected. You cannot actually go ahead and do one by one. You still have to have a segment of, say, okay, some sort of socio-economic analysis, and then offer something.
Yeah.
Data-based, yes,
Okay.
but innovators have to come in and use that as a platform to do interesting things,
All right.
like smart appliances, connected appliances,
Yeah.
of how to address the data privacy, because you don't want your fridge to be controlled by somebody in some wrong country with wrong skills.
Exactly.
That all your
Quite a
chicken
sobering thought.
well done steak is going bad all the time. So
Exactly.
you would not want that. Yeah.
So I'll ask you the question about private investment. What do you think is holding private investment back from Asia? Or do you think this is the case or not?
Private investors are coming in actually. They are coming in.
Okay.
But still it is so nascent that you don't know what
Right.
needs to be done.
Okay.
It's not there out. There are not enough smart meters out right now, except for China, Japan, etc., where it is mandated.
Yeah.
So it will happen. They can actually go ahead and experiment these things. But as I said, different countries have got completely different consumer behavior.
Yeah, yeah.
Malaysia, relatively cheaper electricity. Thailand, more leakage. In Philippines, in India, India would just want to go ahead and just be able to reduce the theft.
Yeah,
I think that's the best case that can happen. But Malaysia can actually go ahead and do that. Yeah.
Okay.
Utilities can get inside the customer's house to give really innovative solutions.
Okay.
Yeah.
Bit of a generic question, but I mean, are utilities in Asia, are they ready for this digital transformation that is going to take place? And how do you think it's going to affect their customer-utility relationship in a few years' time?
Yeah, again, it's a broad question, but if you break it down, AMI is predominantly on the customer side. It is going to give customer users data.
Yeah.
Now, on top of that, you have to build your grid, which should be able to respond to the customer needs, consumption needs, changing needs. Like if customers are able to generate their power, solar, then the grid should be able to deal with that. At this point, ASEAN specifically is not ready for that. They're still experimenting. Everybody is experimenting. There was just a presentation done by MEA on the impact of the photovoltaic and how does it affect the grid. You have to understand that photovoltaics is a new technology that is being deployed, but the grid systems are 10 years old. So they're not ready to deal with that that level of information. IoT is a very nice thing, but executing it is quite a challenge because of old technology blending with the new. So that's why they're not ready as yet. A lot of grid enhancement has to be done. That's why in the next 10 years, we will see more investment in the grid systems also, which will be much, much bigger than the AMI. AMI will be the small part. It will enable, but the grid has to be improved. And that will happen in about 10 years' time.
Okay.
Then everybody will be ready.
Yeah, wow. Yeah. Okay, so another decade. My final question to you, what would be your advice, perhaps, let's do it for both the energy sectors in Asia, and as well as to private investors who are maybe looking to come into the region?
Right, so starting the utilities side, I would focus on that. They have to get the business angle right. Why is it they want the advanced AMI to be deployed? Why? And are they ready for it? They have to work with the regulators. And it is something which is, they should not fight against it. It is important that they work towards it because it will help them improve the efficiency of their network. So they should look at working with the regulators in coming with a better customer experience, putting the customer in the middle, and try to build a business case around the customer. Make a business platform for investors to come in and experiment with the information they have, keeping in mind data privacy, security. So utilities and regulators have to create a platform with the customer in between to allow the private investors to come in. Much like an innovation hub or something, where they invite startups, research institutes, new technologies to come in. I think that would be the model which can grow, make it grow. Much like apps. Apps come in, you have the phone or the Android, and apps are deployed and tested, and suddenly they grow beyond. Something like that, I would think. So I think I addressed both parts.
Super. Yeah. Abhishek, thank you so much for joining us in the studio.
Thank you very much.
And to our viewers, thank you so much for tuning into this session. And if you are wanting further insight into Asia Utility Week, please have a look at the other videos that are on our playlist, which is on our website, njrati.com. Thank you.
Thank you.